Ultra-wide monitors are one of those things that look incredible online and then completely change your daily life once they're on your desk. Some feel magical, some feel unnecessary. Some are cool for a week and annoying forever. So let's talk about 5 ultra-wide monitors that are actually worth thinking about in 2026. Let's get started. MSIMPG-491C QPX. This monitor seems designed for people who want room without any pressure on them. A 32:9, clean 1800 R curve, and frame size of 49 inches, this monitor doesn't force you to immersively look and experience a system by default. Lets you ease into it. Sitting up in front of it makes sense, particularly if you're accustomed to multi-monitor setups. Multitasking doesn't feel difficult here. Everything fits without competition for space. The QD OLED panel gives nice contrast and vibrant colors, but doesn't take on that over-processed look a few OLEDs do. Gaming at 240 Hz with 0.03 milliseconds response time is clean and responsive, but it feels more like a cinematic experience than competitive. HDR is Display HDR True Black 400, so it's not immediately overwhelmingly bright, but dark moments appear contained and detailed, which suits OLED extremely well. MSI would seem to have thought hard about longevity. OLED Care 2.0, a custom heatsink and graphene cooling keep the proceedings quiet and cool. On the downside, these security measures can interrupt long sessions, notably with compulsory panel refreshes. People also say they get flickers over DisplayPort, though HDMI 2.1 is more stable. This monitor, costing approximately $1,100, makes sense if you need one wide OLED monitor for work and play. Just don't assume it will be completely hands-off. Now, let's adjust that space again and go to Go High. ASUS ROG Swift OLED PG34 WCDM. This monitor doesn't try to be versatile. It knows exactly what it wants to be. This monitor is a 34-inch ultra-wide with an aggressive 800 R curve, and it's very much a sit-centered and lock-in kind of display. At this size, the curve feels intense. If you sit properly, it's immersive and focused. If you move around a lot, you'll feel the geometry immediately. The OLED panel looks excellent. Deep blacks, strong contrast, and rich colors covering nearly all of DCI-P3. Nothing looks fake or overboosted. Motion performance is one of its strongest points. At 240 Hz with a 0.03 millisecond response time, fast games feel sharp and fluid. HDR can look impressive in highlights, but Windows HDR behavior can be inconsistent unless you're willing to tweak settings. ASUS adds real-world value with USB-C charging, a proper KVM switch, and a custom heatsink to help manage OLED heat over time. Build quality feels premium and sturdy. Now the trade-offs. Text clarity on white backgrounds can look grainy, productivity isn't its strength, and the curve isn't forgiving. At around $1,200, this monitor makes sense if gaming is your main priority, not if you want an all-day work display. If OLED sensitivity makes you nervous, the next option goes big, bright, and unapologetically massive. Acer Predator Z57. The Predator Z57 doesn't fade into your setup, it completely commandeers it. It's a huge, massive super ultra-wide of 57 inches with a 32:9 aspect ratio and a 1000 R curve that demands space, attention, and planning before you make the purchase. Getting a dual UHD 7680 by 2160 resolution, two 4K panels fused together practically. Mini LED backlighting with more than 2,000 local dimming zones results in solid brightness and strong HDR performance. It's smooth at 120 Hz, but this is not an esports display. Running games at native resolution requires a very powerful GPU, and even then, you're probably going to make some compromises. Some users report small issues with ghosting and panel uniformity, therefore quality control isn't flawless. Where this monitor excels is in both productivity and immersion. The screen area is absurd. Well, in a good way. There are plenty of generous ports, as you can see, including HDMI 2.1, DisplayPort, USB-C with power delivery, and a KVM switch, perfect for work-from-home setups. At $1,600, this monitor makes sense if you need one massive screen to replace everything else. It's impressive, but it's not subtle or cheap. Alright, now we're entering ultra-wide OLED next-level territory. LG 45GX950A. This monitor is sold for $2,000, which tells you that this thing is designed for serious setups, not casual desk vibes. It's a 45-inch curved OLED with a resolution of 5120 by 2160. And from what users are saying, the 5K, 2K quality on a 21:9 screen just hits different. Text is sharp, courtesy of the 125 ppi and an updated subpixel layout. So it's not just for gaming. Some people are happily using it for work as well. The 800R curve is aggressive, in a good sense. It's something that wraps around your vision, you could say. From a build perspective, it is slim, adjustable, and features slight RGB on the back, clear, and still a video game player. Now the cool part, dual mode. For story-driven games, you can run full 5K 2K at 165 Hz and also WFHD at 330 Hz if in FPS stuff you are sweating. The response time is 0.03 milliseconds, but you get DisplayPort 2.1 as well, and two HDMI 2.1 ports, and a USB-C with 90-watt charging. So Mac plus PC configurations appear to be a breeze according to user feedback. OLED provides up to 1,300 nits peak brightness, blacks that are deep, and great DCI-P3 coverage. Still, it's expensive. It requires a big GPU, and yeah, it's vast. It seems, to buyers, like next level. But in all fairness, this is for enthusiasts who would like one big immersive screen for work and, well, for high-end gaming. Not exactly an impulse buy. And finally, we have the most all-in ultra-wide on the list. Samsung Odyssey Neo G9 G95NC. The Odyssey Neo G9 isn't trying to be reasonable, and honestly, that's kind of the point. This is a 57-inch dual UHD ultrawide with a 32:9 aspect ratio, plus a deep 1000R curve. And the moment you place it on your desk, everything else instantly feels small. It doesn't merge into a setup, it becomes the setup. Samsung really flexes on the display. You are receiving a 7680-2160 resolution through a quantum mini LED panel with nearly 2,400 local dimming zones. Bright highlights pop without the image being washed out. Dark scenes remain detailed, and colors remain vivid but not cartoonish. Pixel density is shockingly high for something this big, especially if you're sitting at a reasonable distance. Performance is ambitious. It supports up to 240 Hz and a 1 millisecond response time at most, as well as AMD FreeSync Premium Pro and DisplayPort 2.1. But let's get straight up. Running this monitor at full resolution and at a high refresh rate takes a killer GPU. Compromises will occur for most folks. It can take some adjusting to the curve, and some users say eye strain occurs during extended sessions. Feature-wise, it's all over. HDMI 2.1, DP 2.1, USB hub, picture-by-picture, ambient core sync lighting. That makes this monitor at $1,700 seem hardly to matter unless you're interested in a single, ultra-clean, all-in-one display. And you know the commitment involved in that option.